This is Isabella Breda, the editor-in-chief of The Echo. This week, I got to sit down with Millennia Gamez, the new freshman senator elected last week to serve on the ASCLU Senate, Cal Lutheran Student Government. How are you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
Good. So I kind of wanted to jump into, I read a little bit about it in your op-ed, but I was curious about your background. Are you native to the area?
I live here in Simi Valley, so I'm only like 15 minutes from Thousand Oaks, so I'm pretty native, and I've been to like, not necessarily on campus, but around campus a few times.
Oh, cool. So did you grow up in Simi Valley?
Yes.
Okay. And what was that like for you?
Pretty normal, I guess. There's a bunch of diverse backgrounds when I was in high school. I don't really remember middle school or elementary, but growing up, yeah, I saw like different perspectives and stuff, and I've opened my eyes to like what else there is in the world since I was younger.
And so what led you to choose Cal Lutheran?
It was really close to home, and I really liked that. I didn't feel like I was ready to leave home just yet. I also, what they offered at CalLu, like the different events and different activities, also the different like ASCLU, for example, and like different clubs, and also the faith aspect, because I am Catholic, and I'm very devoted to that. And so, yeah, that, and also, of course, financial aid, that also played a big role.
Yeah, for sure. And so I know you said that growing up and going to school in Simi Valley, you had access to diverse perspectives. How do you feel that's important in the college community?
It's like extremely important, because you can't, when I was younger, I didn't know about a lot of things, and like, I can't think of anything right now, but when you're like open to these new perspectives, like you're able to like learn more. And like, if you have such a small amount, not necessarily like a small amount of knowledge, and you don't have like a bigger perspective, or like you don't have a wider like amount of knowledge, then you're not really gonna have good arguments to make. You're not gonna have good like facts to set down. How will you know like about the world when there's so much like in it, you know? There's like 7 billion perspectives, and you're stuck with just your one. It would be, you know, it's just small. Like you need diversity. You need this to just grow your mind and be able to like contribute to the world that you live in.
Yeah, I think that's very well said. And so were you involved at all like in student government in your high school?
I was part of class council, which is, yeah, pretty much like the government. There was also ASU, which was a little higher. In high school, I didn't feel ready though to like take that step. So I didn't join the ASB and didn't do those kinds of things. But I feel like class council did prepare me, because we also like, we discussed the events that were going to happen at school, and we also like just were representatives for like the whole student body.
Right. And so what do you know about ASCLU at Cal Lutheran, or what did you know going into it?
Not much, just what's on the website, really. Just that they're representatives for the student body. They also decide like financially, like where the money for the clubs will go, and they do those kinds of decisions, and decisions about the events, just like different decisions that affect the student body on the campus is pretty much what I knew about it going in.
And so what role did you want to play in that decision making, or what sort of things would you like to see on campus?
Honestly, I wanted to provide like, you know, like my opinion or what I know, and also I want to be able to like connect with others on campus, and I feel like I could do that more if I'm like representing them, so I could reach out to them and also bring in what they want if they don't feel comfortable like taking the step up to like join in and do it themselves. And I guess the campus is pretty like diverse, and they have different events. Like, for example, with the Latinx Heritage Month happening right now, they have a lot of events going on, so that's pretty cool. And like, so just like expanding that, you know, and like adding in more so that each person feels like this is truly their home and they truly have like a piece of their background there with them at ASCLU, and expanding the like diversity and that outreach.
And so in your decision making to attend Cal Lutheran, I know you said like financial aid, of course, played a factor, and proximity to your home. But in thinking about the college experience, I guess if COVID wasn't going on right now, what sort of community or events would you want to see on campus?
I'm not like a dancer or anything, but I really love dancing, even though I'm not good at it. So, but I love that, like, like that social, like you're able to let loose with other people around you. And like, you see like, cause even in dancing, you could see how people like their personality goes into that, and you could like meet people through that too. And it's just, I don't know, I really like that, like dances and hearing different types of music. And, it's like a whole, I'm not sure how to describe it, but I would have wanted that to be happening. And also just different events, like being a part of those events, being a part of like what's happening on campus, like also with clubs. I've joined a few now, and it's nice being on Zoom with them, but it'll be like another experience to just be there, meet them, shake their hand, and like just talk to them like face to face rather than like face to screen to face,
Yeah, for sure. And so I guess like considering the next 4 years at CalU, what are some of your hopes or goals? And I guess also, what are you studying?
I'll start with what I'm studying. I'm studying political science as my major. I've declared a double major in political science and psychology with a minor in Spanish, but I'm still figuring it out to see if it'll actually work out. Hopefully it will. And also in the next 4 years, I guess, just, those events that will bring us together, even if we're far apart. Hopefully we won't be. Hopefully we'll get to go back to campus, but just a lot like continuing that and like expanding on those kinds of events, because I feel like it's like necessary in order to like feel, because CalU is our second home really, and like that's just where we're going to be, and we're going to meet our people, we're going to meet potential friends, maybe lifelong friends, and so we just need those events to like bring us together and like make us stronger as a community. And also I think expanding something that CalU has right now is the anti-racist initiative that they're taking, and I think that we need to like continue pushing that forward to make sure that like it really makes it to anti-racist, because it's getting there, but it's not like completely there,
Yeah.
So like making sure to expand on that as well, because our world is changing, and it is expanding. And like in 2020, we're still like dealing with these kinds of things in our world, like racism and such, and like we need to get past that, and we starting it small here in our own community, we could take that bigger.
Yeah, for sure. And I guess bouncing off that, why do you think it's important that in a college community we address anti-racism as a whole, and also I guess correcting those racist institutionalized systems within a college?
I think that we just need to do that now, and because this student body will be the future of not just like these towns, this state, but this country and potentially this world. Like that's just how it like builds up, and you don't know what we're all capable of, and reaching that, like reaching our infinite possibilities, we need to be able to like, by building on that, we're going to go somewhere, and we're going to lead the future as the students. And that's why we need to like, we're the ones who are responsible to change these racist ideals that have been already planted there, by changing that, by sorry, I forgot the word, but by changing that, we will be able to like, by learning like what's wrong with it, we can take that further, not just from the school, but also like for future generations that will be entering the school, for future generations that will see us in the world and how we work.
Yeah. Well, thanks so much for joining us on our second podcast here.
Thank you. Thank you for inviting me. This is interesting. I've never done a podcast.
So my name's Alijah Hernandez. I am a student reporter for the ASCLU. I'm a third year.
And so you got to attend the first Senate meeting, including the new senators that were elected last week. So what was that like? What was the energy in the room?
I would say that the energy was pretty, there was I kind of felt excitement. I felt like everyone was kind of excited to get back into the swing of things because things were running really efficiently. I think this was the first time that Garrett Wyatt was in charge of the meeting, and a lot of people that I interviewed said that they felt like it went very efficiently and productive. He did a really good job of running the meeting. So I kind of felt like it ran smoothly and everything was on track.
Yeah. And what were some of the main points or issues that they wanted to address in this first meeting?
Well, they mainly went over allocating and approving clubs and funds. So they actually allocated, so Circle K was one of the organizations that they had to allocate for. They originally requested $7,000 to be allocated to their program, but they made a decision to change that to $3,175. Just because they eliminated all the in-person activities that they had for their club, and they also have to accommodate for other clubs. And so that was a decision made. They also approved the African Student Association, the Every Nation to be a club. So those were approved to be clubs. And they tabled the approval and allocation for the FITM Fashion Club for the next allocation meeting because there wasn't any representatives to speak on their behalf. And the senators wanted more clarification on what they wanted exactly for their funds. So they tabled that until the next allocation meeting.
And so the Circle K Club, the first one you brought up, over $7,000 is kind of a lot for a Cal Lutheran club. What does Circle K do, or do you know?
From my understanding, they provide community service through the Cal Lutheran community and give back to the district. Yeah, they're a community and campus service base. So money usually goes to the district and divisional events. They also host a lot of trainings and webinars for the people part of that organization. And then most of the money that they also wanted, they wanted to go towards raffles and prizes and supplies. So I remember they also were asking why they wanted so much or how they got that number. And she said it was from an estimate, just estimating, and they wanted to be more safe than sorry so that's when they came up with the new number and asked her which events did she feel were most important. And then they based that off of, then they re-estimated the amount of money they would use. They also took out a lot of in-person events. I know it was a district event or something that could only happen in person, and they wanted funds for that. So they just defunded all of the in-person activities.
Oh, wow. Yeah. And so beyond allocating funding for clubs, what were some of the other main points in the meeting, or was it primarily just figuring out who gets what this year?
Yeah, it was primarily just figuring out who got what. And then the announcements in the beginning, Melinda Roper just mentioned that student life is getting back into the swing of things and maintaining all guidelines and protocols in terms of safety. So they're really trying to give back to the community to give us the experience we want and deserve. She also mentioned that they're opening up an outdoor fitness center because they're not allowed to have the gyms open right now. So they're in the process of opening up the fitness center to be outdoors.
Oh, wow. And where would that be? Like outside the actual gym, like Gilbert?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, wow.
And then they're also trying to open up the pool for swimming. And she said, like, you can visit the hub for, like, more information. But they're just, like, trying to slowly get back into kind of opening campus.
Right.
And then Noah, which is the finance director, I think,
Yeah.
he mentioned that their budget, and they actually the Senate budget was much higher than they were expecting. So he said that they were able to allocate a lot to the clubs and their requests. So the Senate budget, and then for clubs and organizations, he said that it was $200,008.
Yeah, so Senate seems to have all this money this year, in a year where budgets are a big concern for a lot of schools. Mm-hmm. Knowing that these funds come from student fees, did they seem to be a little more careful? I know that they allocated a little less than Circle K wanted, but with these club allocations, were they keeping in mind the fact that there's not going to be in-person events and money is tight right now?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I definitely think that they were keeping that in mind, because I interviewed over an email interview. I interviewed her name was Ariana Gamble, and she mentioned how, like, the one downside of this year is that they can't approve all the funds that a club may suggest, just because they don't know, like, what to expect with this pandemic. And it's also, like, they're also asking for funds for the spring semester. And she mentioned how that's, like, financially hard to provide at the moment, because they also have to keep in mind that they have to fund other clubs.
Right.
And they don't know what's going to happen in the spring semester. So, like, they just, like, it's hard to, like, give in to all of their requests. Oh, she said that Circle K clubs, the reduction of the Circle K club felt right for now, just because it's really hard to predict what's coming next with this pandemic. So planning for the spring semester financially is really tough to do at the moment. So, like, the reduction from Circle K's cost, they felt really comfortable with. So I'm sure that, like, they were trying to be mindful of the money, because even when they suggested that, a lot of people had, like, discussion, like, they all wanted to have a discussion about it, and they were really questioning, like, where that number was coming from, so they could, like, narrow it down to what they actually need, just to conserve their funds too.
And so overall, like, kicking off their legislative season, they seem mostly optimistic going into it, regardless of the fact they're meeting online now. Mm-hmm. But I guess if there's any big takeaways from the meeting, what would you say that is?
I know another senator that I interviewed said that he was just really excited that they just got back into the swing of things, and they were, like, getting into, and they're starting, their legislative season. They're finding ways to conserve their budget, considering everything that's going on right now with the pandemic, and I think they're trying to do that as fairly as possible.
Yeah, and it seems like, they're even trying to get this planning going regardless of the fact that people are all over the country right now. There's less than 400 students on campus, but they're still like, hey, we're doing things. It seems like they're trying to keep people connected.
Yeah, they're really trying to have involvement as best as they can with all the circumstances.
Right.
But yeah, overall, like, they're really trying to promote student involvement in the ways that they can for right now.
During the fall ASCLU Senate election, Millennia was nominated to serve as freshman senator. In addition, Josh Wortham was elected as commuter senator, and Rosita Alvarez was elected as transfer senator. Also in the news this week, last Friday, September 18th, the People of Color Collective, a group of Cal Lutheran faculty and staff, sent a letter to university leadership regarding their pleas to create a more equitable campus. You can read more on our website, CLU Echo, that's ECHO.com. Thank you for listening.